Joining me today, I have Grace and Dave, and I'll let them introduce themselves.
I'm Dave. Grace is over here, so I don't think she's all the way over there, so she may not be able to say anything. But, yeah. Oh, never mind. She's here. She's here.
Well, they're seeing you from that camera.
Yeah. Okay. Hi, I'm Grace Hudson.
Thank you, Grace. So we'll just jump right into our presentation that we created for this meeting specifically. And I'll share my screen. Okay. All right, so starting off, I would like to just go back real quick. So this is our agenda for the day. So we'll first start off with an icebreaker. We'll go into our end of the year reflection, and then we'll talk a little bit about the budget allocation, a couple of reminders, and lastly, we'll share contact information or update it. So first, it's our icebreaker. So this is called speed networking. So at each location, for those that are in person and for those that are online, if you're in person, what I'd like you to do is turn to your left, turn to your right. That person sitting next to you, you ask them these 3 questions. However, you only have a minute to get as much information as you can. For those that are joining us virtually online, with the assistance of Dan, you will be put into a breakout room. In that breakout room, you will have, again, a minute to ask these 3 questions. After that, we are going to switch it up. And for those that are in person, after a minute, you're going to look for somebody else to ask these questions. Any questions from any of the 3 campuses? All right, I'll take that as a good sign. So, Dan, I'll let you go ahead and have everybody go into the breakout room. As soon as that's completed, I'll start that timer. For those that are in person, you have a little opportunity to kind of find the person you're going to ask these questions. So, go.
Hi, we're so far from each other. I know. What's your favorite event? My favorite event. Movie night. That was interesting. I think that was my favorite event. That's my favorite event. The student veteran of America. Okay.
I think the film club done it. Yeah, how they do screenings every Friday.
And then, how was the club created? Wait, I don't think you can. Okay.
Yeah, I'm in no other club besides this.
Okay.
Should I just there?
I don't think it's was created in the event, so I don't think in general. It's because it puts the exam.
Oh, you only in partnership. You're in partnership.
No, I'm just saying, we can't, speak about SGA events, but, I would say events, a lot of events that are held by programs. So second events.
Certain things are first big like event here on campus.
Really?
Yeah,
Where was it?
it was in here. They did a fall one, like.
All right, and that's time. So now you have about 5 to 10 seconds to find somebody else. I'll give Dan a couple of seconds to switch up the rooms, and you have about another minute.
Come on over. Come on over. Here, come on over. A lot of them, so I had them there. When I say there, I'm thinking
And the time starts now.
And I don't really have anything. Okay, you can go first.
Apparently, like, nobody understands how it's actually played.
Like a
It's almost like
sled,
shover, it's almost like shuffleboard on ice though.
hockey?
Is it field hockey?
I don't think we're good.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and time. So I hope that was an interesting.
Oh. Oh, that was it.
I think we have time for one more round.
One more round. Oh my. Okay. 3 more people. I don't care who they are.
Ready and go.
We're doing it again.
Oh. You guys gotta enjoy it.
You actually gotta go somewhere else.
How you doing, young man? Oh, wait a minute, where is the young lady over there? Yeah, go ahead, go all the way. Come on now, come on over.
I'm keeping time.
Okay, what's your favorite event?
My favorite event was was it Emma Society?
Well, yeah, okay.
We went to see.
Okay, I'm most interested in the next interesting club.
Next interesting clubs for me is probably the international. And 3, 2, 1, and time.
Oh, you know what? I always forget your name.
All right. And that completes it for icebreaker. Hopefully you guys learned something interesting about those around you, those part of the meeting, as well as some clubs that you might have not have known about, but learned a little bit something new about today. However, with that, we will go into our end of the year reflection. With this, we're going to break up those that are virtual into breakout rooms, separated into Catonsville, Essex, and Dundalk. And I believe at Essex, Dave will take over and moderate there. And I believe at Dundalk, Vivian will be monitoring there as well. And then I'll let you go ahead and separate us into the breakout rooms. And I'll post those questions into the chat. That way, everybody will still be able to go over them. Any questions before we do? All right, there you go.
I see you rolling up the stairs.
Bernard, you said you're putting them in the chat, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll wait for that and then open up.
There they go. And then is this everybody that will be in our room? It's probably still breaking them up. Just 2 seconds. But please think about these questions real quick, and then I'll come to each and everybody.
Do I get to say anything?
You can say whatever you want to say.
Okay.
Welcome.
Oh, she's supposed to sit there and look beautiful.
Don't lift.
Sorry to ask again, Dan, but is this everybody that will be in our group virtually? So if I could have each of you just introduce yourself and which club or organization you. I see. Hey, Dan and Chrissy, would you like to participate in our breakout?
I'm just being a spy. Continue on.
Thank you. I'll just mute us then. Sorry.
Oh, you're fine. I can listen. You're not getting, like, it's fine.
Okay, no problem. All right. So I'll start off by asking the first question. Overall, what were some positives and negatives geared towards events this semester that you would like to see a change in? So, Ms. Denise, I know you had an event earlier.
Yes, I did. I had the Shiro event that took place here on the actual, over in the Centers for Arts. And I was kind of disappointed because I wanted more students to participate in the event. It was broadcasted through the Student Life newsletter. It was sent out into communities, various community centers it was put into. And I was just still disappointed with how many students that did not come. We did have students participate, but I wanted a larger turnout. So that was the negative input. So I guess I need to market a little better or gear it more. I think next time I'll go Facebook, Twitter, something along those lines, something that the students are more familiar with. Because by sending them emails, half of them don't open their CCBC email. And that's sad.
Yeah, I think the hardest part or one of the hardest part is not just the coordination of like an event, but being able to advertise it in a way where you will be able to grasp the attention of students. You know, we have poster boards where there's flyers all the time, but we get so many comments about students saying, I don't know anything about these events. How do I know more about these events? But they're on poster boards in every single building. We get text messages, and students will always say, I don't know when these events are, where they are. And so I think that's just what makes it really hard, you know? So,
And I think they don't pay the newsletter any attention. You have to register through Student Life in order to get the newsletter, correct?
the newsletter is sent out by someone else.
Oh, okay.
Were there some positives to your event?
No, I had plenty of food and everything, so I just gave it away.
Okay.
I just brought it back over to Student Life and let Student Life give it to the students and gave them a very nice lunch that day. So, did you enjoy the lunch?
I did enjoy the lunch. I did. Yeah, I got leftovers. I did. You were mentioning that you're the dance.
Co-advisor for Dance Express, but I haven't been a part of any of the events yet.
Okay, no problem, no problem. Sir, have you participated or observed any other events? aside
No,
from
I
this?
have not. The only event I saw, I think it was this week or last week, ASU was having a photo shoot in here.
Oh, yes.
So they did a photo shoot. I was able to, watch in on that. But other than that, I mean, that's good. You guys having a couple of events coming up anyway, every year events coming up, and, barbecuing gonna be on there we go. So I see what's going on. I will be out there, so.
Definitely.
Check you guys out.
Well, grateful to have you here.
Thank you.
Any of the SGA members want to?
Okay, so kind of an event, not really. I had attended the PTK like induction ceremony, and I appreciated that it was happening because it seemed like it hadn't happened in a while. I think because of COVID. I feel like there could have been more planned. It seemed kind of plain and simple. Like if you had 3 campuses, each campus had its own group. You like. The heads of the PTK from each campus gave like a speech, and then they just listed off the names. And that was it. You know, there wasn't like any sort of like celebration type of mood. It was very like formal. We're just gonna get through this, and that'll be it. And I just feel like it could have been more exciting, you know, more engaging for the students. Like congratulations, you're in PTK.
I think some people left early too.
Yeah, people left early too. I know that at the Catonsville campus, because we were presented first. After the Catonsville campus was done, like people started leaving. They didn't even stay for the Essex and the Dundalk. Maybe because the atmosphere was different, because you know you only had the Catonsville group and then the other 2 groups were online technically. But like, I just feel like there could have been more.
So that was the honor society you were talking about?
PTK specifically.
Okay, well, thank you guys for your input. The first question. I'd like to jump into the second one. Yeah, go. Sorry.
Reference to the first one. So like, well, I know all of you know, I work behind the scenes when it comes to all the clubs organizations. Overall, you know, all the clubs, you all did expected like what was needed, but the negative is just getting those requests in on time. Like, I don't think people understand the headache that we go through dealing with scheduling. Like, you can't send something in on Monday for your event on Thursday. It's like up in the air, yes or no, if it'll go. Same thing with catering. You can't put something in on a Monday thinking, oh, we can get this on a Thursday. That's just not how it works. So sticking to the, you know, get everything, the 2-week big thing, I think they should stick more to it.
So
And I'm sorry, would you mind introducing yourself for those that, you know, I think that was very.
All right, so I'm Brianna. I'm the part-time admin over at Student Life, now Student Engagement. And I'm the one that's behind the scenes along with my colleague, Ms. Nancy, that's doing room reservation, catering, even with the outside vendors. We're doing a lot of behind the scenes when it comes to clubs organization. You see a lot of me.
Thank you so much. And I'd like to jump into our second question. And I'd like to open the floor to some of the SGA students as well, because I know you guys are also part of different organizations, so you can probably speak for the organizations that you guys are representatives of. I'm looking at Essex here. Can I jump into and ask you guys questions too? Would you guys like to respond as well? Or are you guys doing your own thing over there?
Yes.
We can answer.
Yeah, we can answer, yes.
Okay. So Just for the folks over here, can I get some introductions of which members are there and what clubs are being involved over there in the room?
But no, we only got SGAs in.
But we're in clubs. some of us.
But they're in clubs,
Okay, so you guys can kind of participate in this second question then, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so second question, what is the leadership style of your organization? And how has that affected the process and the rate of decision making? And that could range from large groups, small groups. Does one person make the decisions, or is it a chain of command, or a group with equal decision power? And for example, I'll give an example like SGA. We make group decisions, if I'm correct, right? And so I'll pass the mic over to Kaya.
Okay. So recently we're starting a coding club, and the way that works is the president makes all the decisions, and the advisor just kind of helps it come to fruition.
Thank you. Anybody at Essex, take over. Anybody.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, Deborah.
They can hear me, right? Okay, so the leadership styles kind of differ on what kind of clubs and orgs it is. Like you mentioned, for SGA, everybody has the same power. We equally contribute to the decisions. But I think when it comes to clubs and or clubs like, for example, business club, I can speak of because I'm a member of, the officers kind of make the decision. It's kind of hard to include all the members in the decision making. The officer would come together and speak and discuss about what needs to be done, what kind of speaker we would bring, what kind of events we would be holding. And then within that, the leadership skills that we have been utilizing a lot would be communication, delegation, accountability, and consistency in reaching out to members. It's not easy to reach out to students at college and kind of try to attract them to your club. We have over 40 clubs, so we have been trying to be really, really consistent in trying to get all the students that are interested in business and then try to see what they are interested in to make the decision by ourselves. So when I say officers make decisions, it doesn't mean they make the decision based on what they want, but after interacting with all the members, after acknowledging what the students are trying to reach, and then after that, they make decisions. But other clubs like SGA, so for example, programming board, we work on creating events monthly. So programming board has a lot of members, and all the members are the ones who work on creating those events. So we make groups. So we have different groups that focus on the different team that different themes of events. So then we would come together and discuss the events that we have thought of, and then after that we would approve it. So I would say all the leadership styles differ on what kind of clubs and orgs they are.
Thank you, Deborah. Ms. Denise, would you like to give us a breakdown on your club's organization leadership style?
I believe in a chain of command. I don't know if it's just because my military background, but I really do appreciate a chain of command. The reason why I say that is because the larger the group is, you have to have some form of order. And if you don't do things in order, you have chaos. So I like order in anything I do. So I have one person that reports to another person, that reports to another person, and keeps going right up until it hits the very top. So I'm a strong believer in chain of command. Just because we have a chain of command don't mean our opinions are not equal. The opinion still is equal across the board, but I still believe in the chain of command. So, and finally, you want someone ultimately at the top who's going to take the fall when something goes wrong. That's how we military people believe it. Somebody's got to fall. So somebody's going to fall. That's right. So chain of command. And I think it's the best way to go. because you need structure in the system and you want some form of structure. You don't just want things occurring, everyone just jumping up doing whatever. You want it known who's doing what, when, where, and how. And you want to have some form of order. And I believe that you should write it out so it's known to everybody in the group from the beginning, not midway through, from the very beginning. This is who we appeal to if this is going wrong. We have a sergeant of arms who's going to take care of when we have problems in the meeting. We're not going to have people jumping up and jumping in nobody's face. You have the right to disagree. That's okay. But you still got to have some type of order within that disagreement. So I believe in a chain of command. Definitely.
Thank you, Ms. Denise. Really appreciate that input. Is there anybody else at Essex that would like to present a different type of leadership style?
I will say, just to piggyback off Ms. Denise, I think that definitely chain of command allow people to grow. Because, for example, if someone want to join the organization and they want to be like a media person, right? They know that they're coming in to present that to the organization. If someone want to come in to be the treasurer and their major is in business, that's something for them to grow in, you know. So I think that when you look at positions, they allow people to grow from each other. You know, I've been a part of a lot of different organizations growing up in college, you know, and I think that me serving as a president or me serving as a rep is two different positions. But that rep get to learn from the president, allow him to grow, for him to move into that position. So, and they hold you accountable to your position title. Because, for example, if someone's supposed to come here to present and you guys have no title, who you guys gonna blame? The organization itself. Everyone's gonna be pointing finger, you know. But if you're the person who's responsible for the meetings, then it's that person's job to make sure that they set up a meeting, talk about what's gonna happen. Are we gonna talk about this? Then detail it and send it out to the board members and be like, this is what we're gonna go on. But if you have no one that's hold a title, it's hard for you to say, all right, when you put your resume, what you're gonna put, I'm just a representative.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because when you get in the real world, it is gonna be position. You know, that's how it works. You know, I mean, I got to answer to someone. You know, someone gonna send me an email and be like, hey, we need to sit down and talk. You know, so I do believe in like that little chain of command because they allow not just you to grow, but also the other students who are, because some students probably don't want to be a president. They're probably okay being just community service chair.
Yeah.
You know, they might okay doing that, you know, and I think open up those positions allow people to see position and want to be a part of that.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. And I think with that, I will transition into our third question, more of a statement or opinion. I'd like to open the floor to any of the clubs or organizations to just, speak your mind. If you have anything, questions you want to ask, anything that's been working well, not working well, this is the opportunity to just, speak your mind. And that goes to Essex as well too. All right. And I'll conclude our end of the year reflection. Again, I want to say thank you so much for everybody's input. I think it's very important that you have the opportunity to kind of state these reasons, state what's going on. And us as the SGA, we will take that into to a thought process and write it all down, and we'll discuss it. And hopefully we'll come up with some resolutions for you all. But thank you again for participating. With that, I'll ask Dan to kind of bring everybody back, and we will transition into our next segment.
Everyone's back.
Thank you, Dan. So now we will go into how can we build, we as in the SGA, how can we build a stronger relationship with you, the clubs and organizations? What are some things that you feel like we can present that we haven't presented that can strengthen our relationship to make sure that you're receiving everything that you need to be successful within your clubs and organizations? And I'll kind of open up the floor to that as well. So please go ahead. Kai?
I've noticed a lot of people that didn't know that we exist. They asked me, so what do you do in the SGA? What can you help me with? Maybe if we give a list of examples of things that we can do, it might be.
Okay.
I have an example of something the SGA can do for your club. So as we'll discuss a little later, everyone has a budget, right? And, you know, the deadline for those budgets is coming up, so I'm not gonna go into too much detail. But if you think you don't have enough money to put on an event that you really wanna put on before the end of the year, you could request that money from us. We have an overflow budget that we can provide you money through. So that is one of the things that we can't help you with. If you need extra money, ask us. 9 times out of 10, if it's, you know, if it's really well written and it's really going to help the campus, or even if it's just a little fun, we'll approve it for you. And you just have to ask first.
And that kind of ties back into what Bree was saying. You have to make sure you request that 2 weeks in advance. There's a form to fill out, but aside from that, anybody else would like to state anything?
Yes, I think that probably is the best time to do stuff like this, like an end of year survey to see what other organizations have to say. What can you guys bring different that didn't happen this year?
Yes, sir.
You know, so you guys can work on that. You know, for who are looking to transition to university, for who are looking to still be here, can work on those things.
Yes, sir.
You know, because again, I mean, some people don't like to speak out in meetings. But if you send out a survey, they will write out what they would like to see, and then you get to really see how many people are saying that.
Sure.
You know, so I think that surveys are good, you know, as long as all organizations take part in it.
Thank you. Thank you. And I will leave this out as an open-ended question. So at any point in time, if anything comes to mind later on in the presentation, please feel free to just jump out. Just remind me the question, and we will address it at that point in time.
I would also like to just make a comment to just put a little emphasis as to why we asked this question. You know, I think there was some previous meetings of clubs and organizations in which we kind of just talk about as to why the SGA started reaching out to these clubs and why we started emailing these clubs. And we explained that we are here for guidance. If you might think you need any help from us, like the example that Emma has given, or sometimes it might be on advertisement, or it might be on help, maybe assistance as to how you might want to go about a situation. We really put a lot of emphasis that we are there for you if you need that kind of help. But I also noticed that I do have club connections that do need help in kind of building their club. But I also noticed that I am not getting a lot of responses back. But I know they need help because every time I would email them, they would express that they do need help in these areas. But at the same time, it's almost like as if they're not really registering that we are here and that you can email us or ask us for help whenever you do need that. So that's kind of why we asked this question, is because I want to know how we can build a stronger relationship and how we can make you feel more comfortable or knowledgeable in how we can help you, just so that, you know, it can be beneficial for your club or organization or even leadership and management of these organizations.
Thank you so much, Seth. I think that's a very great point to emphasize. And I would take some fault personally because I took off a list within this PowerPoint that could probably have helped in developing some questions on what are some things that we could possibly help with. But I'm sure that that list has come up in the previous clubs and organizations meetings. So I assume that, you know, everybody would know everything that we do provide here as the SGA. However, I'll make sure that that's something that will also be included next time this question is asked. That way, if there is something that you do need assistance with, you don't know that we do provide, you will know ahead of time. And if it's not being provided, please raise that question. I think it'll be very helpful and beneficial to your clubs. But with that, I will transition into our next segment. We will go into our budget allocation. And I will hand this over to Grace over at Essex.
Okay. Can everyone hear and see me?
I can hear you.
Okay. You probably have to give the owl like a second to turn towards me. If not, that's okay. Bernard, do you want to go to the next slide?
Yes.
Okay. So I just want to make sure all the clubs know that the last day to submit an event request form is Monday, May 1st. The technical last day is the 15th, but because they need 2 weeks to process the requests, the real last day is May 1st. There is additional funding available for these. I believe it's about 3,000 is what's left in the budget in case you were to go over your club's budget. And then we need, in order to be considered an active club next year, we need the end of year reflection, which is due on the 31st. And this is the link to it right here. And so for next year's budget, it's $2,000 for like a runoff budget, if I'm correct on that, right? Yeah. For the 2,000, they have to do the thing.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, so the last day to do like an event for this semester is Monday, May 1st, and then the end of year reflection is the 31st.
I'll put that in the chat too. I'll put that link in the chat. All right, thank you, Grace. And I put that link in the chat. I don't know if you heard me. I'm muted. Okay. Thank you so much for that, Grace. Next, we'll go into reminders, and I will hand this off to Dave.
Yeah, reminders. Nothing on the next slide. All right, reminders. Like 6 things on the slide. So leadership lunch series is on at April 24th at 1 p.m. via Zoom. There's a link there. If you can't, I think it's going to be in the chat. If you can't somehow access this PowerPoint about the leadership lunch series. Then there's a PI board member, which is going to be at April 27th. I don't know the exact time yet, especially for all the rest of them. Student leadership applications due May 31st. Student Life Engagement Awards, RSVP due Monday, May 1st. Fake wedding party, sounds interesting, is at May 5th. And the end of the year report is due May 31st. Again, the links I think will be in the chat if you can't access this card. So.
All right, thank you, Dave. And I definitely went ahead and posted those links in the chat. And I will kind of open up the floor at this point to the clubs and organizations. Another opportunity for you guys to share if you guys have any upcoming events yourselves before the year ends. Please feel free to share with us, and we'll add it to the list over here. And that's open to everybody.
So Dance Express has their permits, the 5th and the 6th. The 5th show is at 7:30 and the 6th, I think, is at 3. They'll be in the barn this time though, we didn't get here.
Okay. Do you have those times?
Friday is at 7:30 and I wanna say, Saturday is at 3.
Okay.
Both of them at the barn theater.
Thank you. Thank you. And as Emma's typing that up, she will add it to the chat in a Word document. So we'll make sure we have that information available. Again, I'll ask, are there any other clubs or organizations that have any upcoming invites or events? Please feel free to share that with us in the chat, and we'll make sure we upload it to the list of events that we have currently, and we'll make that available for you in the chat. But with that, we will transition. Pretty much shows the finale of our presentation. We'll have our contact information available here for the SGA members, as well as the SGA clubs and organizations that they're representatives of. I will post this PowerPoint in the chat. That way you can always go back and obtain that information so that you know who your representative is for your club and organization. But please feel free to take a picture or just let me know if you need me to push back into another slide and so forth. In this last slide here, we also have Dan. He is the Assistant Director of Student Life here at Catonsville campus. He is also the Student Government Association's advisor. So anything that we can't answer, we make sure that we go and ask Dan, and he always has an answer for us. So we'll make sure that you're represented fairly and equally. And aside from that, I will put our last slide here. As you can see, this is a picture of this year's SGA. We look happy. We're happy to be here. We're happy to represent you all. And we're happy to make a change. But aside from that, I will end our presentation. Thank you for coming out, logging in, and participating. We thank you so much. It's very important, not only to anybody want to say anything?
I had a question. So it's about the end of the year reflection that's due May 31st. So who is supposed to submit that? Like, is it supposed to be the SGA representative or like the president of the club?
Dan, can I direct this question to you?
That's pretty wide open. It's really whoever from your group wants to do that and can feel like they have a good overview of the group who can represent the group well. But we really leave it up to every group to figure out what works best for them of who submits that.
Oh, okay. And I did see the link to fill it out. So, but it's not, I have to like log in and stuff, so I can't see the whole thing. So once I click on that link and fill it out, do I have to send it to an email or will it automatically submit to the right person that it needs to get to?
Once you click submit, it'll get submitted. Nothing else needs to happen.
Okay.
Yep. Takes maybe about 5 or 10 minutes.
Okay. Thank you.
And right before we end, I would really like to stress, so if you guys look at the bottom of this last slide, we have the email for the Student Life Office. We have the text number to receive text alert. And then we also have the weekly Friday emails. So please sign up for that to receive updates and information. That way, everybody is locked in and tracking, and we all know what's going on. I believe if we're all on the same page, nothing can go wrong. So I will end it with that. And I'll ask one more time, any other questions? And I'll take that as a no. So thank you again for participating, and this meeting is officially adjourned.
Well done.